All right. Hello. We are live for the caregiver hangout. Oops. I don't want to hear myself. That's going to confuse the heck out of me. Okay. So we are live and I'm so excited to have you guys with me tonight. We have some less technical difficulties going on than we did last week. We are actively live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and that's how I see it all. So, we'll be kind of bouncing around in the comments a little bit as we get into it, but feel free if you are jumping on to say hello and tell me what your favorite little treat is. Like if you just need a little something. Mine is Lindor truffles, specifically the caramel, like the milk chocolate with the caramel on the inside. Those are my favorites. So I'd love to hear, say hello, where you're from, what your favorite treat is in the comments. Just kind of get the conversation going a little bit. Nicole on Instagram, Liam heart pause, says hello. Wow, nice makeup. Instagram, it's filter. I couldn't give you a green screen to make the background look pretty, so I figured the best I could do is make myself look pretty. I did actually put on makeup on the rest of them, but it doesn't look near as good as it does on Instagram. Thanks for the filter. The camera is not nearly as good for the others as it is on Instagram. I don't know why. I think I might have scratched the lens on my camera, on my webcam, when we went to Mayo Clinic. I tried cleaning it, and it's just not getting better. I don't know what to do. But anyways, we are here, and I'm excited. And so let's jump in. Today, I have some things lined up for us to talk about, and I'm so excited. Um, so first, I want to kind of just lay out expectations for chat. And we'll do this kind of at the beginning of every video, just in case we have new people in here, just so we all kind of know that we're on the same grounds. We're here to connect with other caregivers, other parents, dads, moms. Everybody's welcome, grandparents. Because caring for a child who's in and out of the hospital often is difficult and it can be lonely and isolating, especially this time of year when we're trying to hide from those germs and just keep the kids out of the hospital. And so this is our safe space. This is where we can gather and we don't have to worry about spreading germs to each other and we don't have to be alone and we can just exist in this space together, knowing that there's this element of our lives that we just can connect with and understand about. But I want this to be a safe space for all of us. So that means we have a few ground rules just so that we're all playing nice because this is the internet and that doesn't always happen. I do have some moderators who will be moderating the streams, making sure that everybody is playing nice. And as we grow, our moderator team will grow to make sure that this stays a safe space. But no mom shaming, no hateful or derogatory speech. Let's just be nice. We're all on different parenting journeys. And so that means I might make a different decision than you would. But if you had the same circumstances and things, you might have made the same decision as me. You don't know the full context. So just because a mom makes a different decision than you, like, don't put her down or shame her for that. But also, no racism, sexism, all those kinds of things as well. Let's just be compassionate and respectful to each other. No political, hot topic, religious debates. Saying I'm thinking of you, praying for you. If someone mentions something, that's fine, but please don't force your beliefs on anybody else. No spam or links, please. In the future, we will have a planned way for you to share what opportunities or things you may have for the community that may benefit the community, but there will be a formal way of doing that. So please just hang tight. If you've got something, feel free to reach out to me through DMs or something, but not public comments, because the last thing anybody wants when enjoying a live stream or a hangout is to be spammed with opportunities to buy or people asking for money. That includes fundraisers. Please just don't share any of those things here. This isn't the space for that. This is not for kids. So I'd prefer that you didn't watch or listen with your kids. This is a safe space for us parents to talk about the journey of medical parenting. But for them, it may feel like we're talking about them being a burden or something about them being difficult. And I would hate for that to be a difficult conversation in your household. So if you've got little ones around, pop some headphones in, or maybe just catch us later and watch the replay later. That way, your kids are also protected and you benefit from this as well. Um, so that being said, let's catch up if we've got anybody else in the comments here. Liam's Hearts Paws on Instagram says my favorite treat is cookies and cream Hershey bar. That's hard to beat. Those are really good, especially just like the little bite-sized ones. Did you get a bunch of those for Halloween? Like the little ones that you can just have like a little bite instead of eating the whole bar. Um, the next thing I wanted to tell you about is I've had a mailing list for freaking forever. What did I just do? The wrong thing. And I haven't used it much, but we are utilizing it more to remind you of upcoming streams and other things that are developing as the podcast is coming out. So I want you to be aware of the mailing list and to be feel free to add yourself. That's so weird. Okay, this is why I have different pages up in different ways so I can see because I was missing comments again. So John said his favorite snacks and treats on why did that post twice? I Oh, there it goes. Okay. His favorite snack or treat is carrot cake, Pepsi, biltong, chocolate brie, and vlies. I don't know, South African something. That's my husband. Um, thank you for bringing it to my attention that that was not working. I think we're good now. I can see Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram comments. I don't know why they don't show up in the place they're supposed to, but it's fine. Um, so the mailing list. So if you haven't joined the mailing list, the link is in my bio on Instagram. The link is in the chat on both Facebook and YouTube. Feel free to sign up for that, and that way you can get notified about these things as they're coming up. There is quite a bit in the works coming up, and I'm really excited about it, and I don't want you to miss anything that you would benefit from. So make sure that you sign up for that mailing list. I promise you I won't spam you or send you things that are unrelated to parenting children with kids with medical challenges. I lost my train of thought mid sentence, but I recovered. Okay. Also, fun thing. So if you're watching on YouTube, and again, if you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, my goal is for you to transition eventually over to YouTube because starting in January, I will only be streaming on YouTube because it allows me to do things that I can't do on the other platforms, specifically for the podcast, and it'll make it more engaging, more fun, more interesting. So last week we did have issues with YouTube, so sorry about that, but it's fixed and it's up and it's live. So if you wanted to hop over, the links are and for Instagram is in the bio, and I will pop the link in for Facebook right now. Maybe. There we go. Okay. So you're welcome to watch over on YouTube, and then that way you can get the full experience. Um, but YouTube, what was I saying? If you're watching on YouTube, one of the things that you can do that kind of makes it more engaging and helps get this stream to more parents so that we have more people watching, more people engaging in the chat is there is a clip button at the bottom of the stream. If I say something funny or I don't know, something hilarious happens or something that is just really good, feel free to hit that clip button. That will pop up in a clip list for me that then I can make into shorts on YouTube. And that just helps me out. So if you're watching on YouTube and you'd like to help out with that, I'd totally appreciate it. Where's my notes? Because otherwise I will just ramble and not say a single darn thing. Okay, so speaking of the podcast that is launching in January. So right now we're just kind of doing these hangouts. We can chat, get to know each other a little bit, but we are going to be starting more formal podcasts with specific topics and guests starting in January. And the guests I'm still looking I still have spots open. And basically it's just telling pieces of your story. And the point of the podcast is to make it more normalized, less scary, talking about this journey of medical parenting. And so, for parents who are maybe just starting on this road, or maybe you've been out of the hospital for a while and you got word you're having another surgery, and so you're like, I don't know what to do. Or maybe you've been through this so many times that you are ready to help other moms. That's kind of the point of this podcast. And then definitely the dynamic of community, of us just kind of watching and engaging in other people's stories. And some other components that we'll get to in just a minute. But with the podcast specifically, I am looking for more people to share their stories. So, for the next coming several episodes that I'm working on right now, the elements of the story, it's like 5 to 10 minutes recording time. The amount of time that we would work together is like 30-minute Zoom call. And so I'm looking for people to share the pieces of their story that include when you first found out your parenting journey was taking a sharp turn in a different direction and you got that diagnosis and you went, ugh, okay. So if you want to talk about that, how your response was, what that was like, um, telling friends and family or like talking about whether you want to be public or not public about what's going on and sharing it in safe ways. So maybe if you have tips about Facebook pages, how to keep those, private or not private, or um, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Watermarking your images, all those kinds of things. If you have something that you'd like to share with the community about that, we'd love to have you join in the conversation. And be one of our guests for that one. Another episode we have coming up is preparing for your first hospital stay emotionally and what to pack. So if you have like the epic packing list for the hospital, we'd love to have you as a guest and talk about your tips and tricks for packing. But also if you have some suggestions for the self-care and just preparing yourself emotionally for what's to come in the hospital, we'd love to have you join us as a guest for that one. And I guess what I should maybe say is I'm okay with experts if you are a coach or something like that. But if you're just a mom and you're like, she's not talking to me, I'm just a mom, yeah, I'm actually talking to you. I want just moms, like people who've been there. I want this to be just kind of like moms or dads, like sharing their story and just helping it feel more normal because most of us, we don't know other people who have been in the hospital with their kid, or it's been like once or twice. There's not like when you have a kid, you have 1,000 people giving you advice and you know people that you can go to ask for help. But when you have a kid in the hospital, usually you don't have that in your immediate community. You don't have that in your immediate surroundings. And so that's my goal with this podcast, is to create that kind of like resource of what do you need to know? How can you help prepare? But also the community to be there to just know that you're not alone in it and to be able to get advice as you go. What to expect in the hospital, routines, staff members, communication, how to advocate. And I'm a nurse, so I feel like I probably speak best to this, this specific episode. But I mean, a lot of these things, like I know they're topics we need to talk about, but I'd say probably one of the reasons I want to do this podcast, one of the reasons I want to build this community, is I honestly struggle with a lot of these things too. We've been in the hospital 7, 8 times admissions with my son, and I still struggle with a lot of these things. So I don't have all the advice, and I know some of you are way better at this than me. And so that's why I want to invite your voice into this conversation. And then another podcast we have kind of up on the deck is staying sane while in the hospital, tips from moms who've been there. So, whatever kind of tips you have while in the hospital, whether it's self care or interacting with the doctors or just whatever that looks like, just ways to not lose your mind because it's really easy to lose your mind in the hospital. Um, so that's kind of what I've got coming up for upcoming episodes. We've had a bunch of people jump in on several different platforms. So again, feel free to say hello. Tell us what your favorite treat is. That's kind of our like intro thing tonight. What your favorite little treat is when you just need a little something. I really love the caramel Lindor truffles. Um, so please feel free to say hello in the chat. Um, and let's see. Before we go into the next thing, I'd love to just kind of make some space for like talking about our week. What was difficult for you? What worked? Like what went well this week? Like did you have a big breakthrough in therapy with your child? Like how was your week? Um, for us, Henry is doing really well in therapy, and it's just crazy how much progress he's making specifically with physical therapy and how much more interest he has since his most recent open heart surgery. He just has so much more energy, and the therapist said she used to feel like she could push him to a point, and then it was like pushing him isn't like cardiovascularly beneficial to him. Like we're hurting him. And so she just have to back off. And now she feels like she can really push him. And you can kind of see his confidence level growing in that too, that he gets less scared about the pushing. So that was really cool. We were supposed to be going to Rochester this week for our big post-op final follow-up at Mayo Clinic, and have the like study providers check him out and do an echo and all this stuff. And we had a blizzard. So the blizzard hit the day we were supposed to be driving to Rochester. The road like and it like did freezing rain for several hours and then snowed on top. So the freezing rain like put like a layer of ice, and then there's the fresh snow on top, which if you're not like in a snowy area you might not understand, but that's like the most slippery dangerous situation you can have. So we've been home since Tuesday, like haven't left the house. It's just dangerous out there. We'll let it warm up a little bit and melt off. Uh, they haven't even like done anything to the roads in front of our house, so it just is what it is right now. So we didn't get to go to Rochester. Next week now, we are expecting to go to Rochester and have that same doctor's appointment. I'm so grateful that they were able to just kind of squeeze us in and reschedule things so last minute. But we got it worked out. So that's kind of where we're at with Henry. Um, and I guess I've been having like really significant health problems since we came home from Mayo Clinic. We were there for a month. I am terrible at self-care when we're in the hospital, and I just go 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 go, and I eat garbage emotional food, and I just like every day felt myself like falling to pieces a little bit more, even as he's like getting better and we're going home soon. Like I was just a mess. And so then when we came home, I just completely collapsed. And I'm still not doing well. I next week I see endocrinology, and it seems like I might have some like thyroid issues or something. The stress of everything just like really did a number on me, and I'm not recovering well. And I mean, I've had problems since I had my daughter, but the stay at Mayo Clinic definitely made things so much worse. Um, so I'm looking forward to like getting some actual answers as to what's going on. But I've also been struggling with some depression. And I don't know if any of you have had that like after a surgery or anything coming home. I've wondered if that's kind of like a normal response because I feel like after surgery, like you're home, things went well, there wasn't any super major complications. I should feel fine and happy, but I've actually really been struggling with some depression. So I was just curious from you guys, do you experience that as well? If you have an extended hospital stay with your child, do you come home and feel depressed and just kind of like in a funk that's hard to shake out of? I feel like I'm starting to pick up out of that and finding more motivation for my day to day stuff. It's very much complicated by all the hormone stuff I've got going on. And it's hard to differentiate from day to day if what I've got going on is hormonal or depression, or I just need to take care of myself more, or call my therapist, or I don't know. Um, but I see so many of your posts on Facebook and Instagram, and I feel like I must not be alone in this, that this must be um, a thing that we struggle with. And so, if this is something that you struggle with, I'd love to hear your story. And maybe you're not really comfortable sharing on a public forum in a chat on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook where it's going to be there for everyone to see, um, that maybe wouldn't get it. And then that's why I've created a Discord. So, one of the problems with the Facebook group that we have, it's grown like crazy. Like, some days I'll go in and check, and we have like 10 new members because Facebook just keeps sending them in there, which is fine and great. But the problem is, I have to work like crazy on the back end to get the algorithm to like show stuff in that group. And that's why no one ever posts there, is because it's like this silent dormant group, and to wake up takes an insane amount of work from me. And then it's still like you're seeing it like prioritizes controversial posts in Facebook. So if like there starts to be like a bickering thing or someone's disrespectful or something, that's gonna push to the front of the algorithm, when instead of like when a mom says like, oh my gosh, this just happened, can you help? Or hey, we got home from the hospital and I'm struggling with depression. Is this something you guys struggle with too? Those kinds of posts aren't going to show up in your feed very well because the algorithm um, promotes controversy, which like whole other topic. But that's not the kind of vibe I want for this group. And so in trying to figure out like how do we create a space for connection um, that also like works really well and does like really awesome things. And Discord is that. So if you've never used Discord before, I'm actually going to take you inside our group because we're small enough that we don't have any like private things being posted in there just yet. But I'm hoping that we grow over the next couple weeks. And I just want to show you, I've been really hard at work getting this set up in a way that is really useful for all of us. Real quick, I'm going to jump to some comments before I switch screens and forget. John, my husband, says, when we came home, I feel like I'm all prepared that I can't take care of my little one and that my knowledge isn't good enough and I doubt myself. So I guess you mean like the post, like I'm ill prepared. Maybe I think autocorrect is an issue. So like um, there's new medications and wound change dressing changes and that kind of thing, and you get overwhelmed. Is that what you're saying? Um, so we're gonna, let's see, look over here, and hopefully this works for everybody at Instagram. So if you're watching on Instagram and you want to see what I'm talking about, go check out on Facebook or YouTube, preferably YouTube, because you'll get a better view of what's going on. Um, so it is working on Facebook. Um, okay, now we're up on YouTube too. Okay, so you come in and it asks you to verify your email because I want to know that you're human ish. That only does so much. So then it also takes you to these rules, and you have to agree to these rules before it lets you in the group at all. And then I would suggest coming to this welcome start here. And when you come in, like you'll only see like a little bit. Once you fill this out, then it opens up like the whole rest of the group to you. So that way you're only in stuff that you're interested in. So um, your role as a caregiver, you react to the comment. Like, so I'm a mom, so I react to this one, but if you're a dad, you react to this one. What that does when you press that button, it means you're going to get added to either the dad's only group or the mom's only group. Um, and then for this one isn't automatic because it costs me like $80 a year to make it automatic. So once we have some more sponsors going for this, we can make this more streamlined and work better for volumes. But for now, I'll have to come in and do it. So I'll check it at least a couple times a day. But if you join in and it doesn't automatically go through on this portion, just hang tight. I'll get to it. But essentially for this portion, if you resonate with any of these situations, then you just click the reactions that fit for you, and you can click multiple reactions, and then I will come in and add you to the appropriate groups. This whole section here, Get Verified Human, this you really can't post or do anything until you do the Get Verified Human. And you just click that verify button. It takes you to a reCAPTCHA. You do the CAPTCHA and then it kicks you back over and it says you're verified human. And then that changes your access level to the rest of the group. This just prevents bots that I didn't invite into the group from destroying our group. And so this is announcements, things that will, I don't know, about the Discord. Introductions, feel free to introduce yourself. And here's kind of a little prompt if you're not really sure how to introduce yourself. This is where as people pop in, there's like a little place to say hello. And reminders about live streams and replays. And then as the podcast comes out, there'll be some things about the podcast here. A place for us to just share memes together. About special needs, just kind of like you would on Facebook, but it's just us, where we can get it and laugh together. And you don't have to deal with some of the negativity of Facebook. And actually, as I'm talking to those of you on YouTube and Instagram, you may not even have a Facebook. So this is a way that you can join in and connect with the community without having a Facebook. I feel like this is a better transition because there is a good portion of my audience that doesn't have Facebook. And honestly, I don't always love using Facebook either. And so then you'll also still have access to this before you choose the rules. And this is the get involved. And really, this is kind of placeholders for future things, except for talking about podcasting. I'll put the prompts that I talked about earlier about what stories I'm looking for people to share here after this live. And then if you're interested in sharing on the podcast, you can message me which episode you might be interested in sharing on. A little bit of information about becoming a moderator, becoming a sponsor. Those things we're not ready for them yet, so just placeholders for when we get there. And these are forum groups. I'll just open it up. So you can see, like, you can search by category of things like what are we talking about. So if you are getting ready to post something or you want to look, like, you can search first really easily, and then if you have a question or you have just something, you can post it with a tag, and then it like falls into that category. So it just makes it easier to sort like what we're talking about. Let's see, Hangout. So this is also available kind of first when you jump in here. I'd love to have more times of just like hanging out, not just with me talking, but like us doing things together, especially as we grow. So I've seen some other communities do different things in different ways, and I don't know what you guys would be interested. So this is kind of just a place for us to kind of brainstorm and talk about what's interesting to us. So I have posted some ideas here. You're welcome to post your ideas as well. If one of them sounds interesting to you and you'd be like, yeah, I'd do that, you can just do a reaction. Actually, I don't really like Jackbox games. I meant to do that one. Just do some kind of reaction to say, like, yeah, I vote for that one, or add your own things. And then this is where I feel like this is so much better than any other platform, because now we can get into interest specific conversations that you choose to be a part of or don't choose to be a part of. And then that way you're talking with parents who really get like your specific piece of being a medical parent. So when we're talking about genetic defects, congenital heart defects, hospice, if you're a bereaved parent, you are welcome here too, because just because your child is now an angel doesn't mean that you don't still feel disconnected and isolated, and you are still welcome here. And maybe you start this journey in a different place, but we don't want to kick you out. We want you to have your space. So, a place for you to connect with other parents. Um, then we have, tube feeding. I know those groups are hopping on Facebook, so I'm sure this one will get pretty busy over here too. Um, and cystic fibrosis and cancer. And the really cool thing is we can like make more of these. We can make them more specific if we have like one specific cancer that we have like a really large group of. It'd be better to separate them out into a separate group. We can do that. But the same way that we have these tags here in this group, we can do that in all of these. So if you're talking in the um, genetic defects group, if you want to do um, Q22, like we can make a tag for Q22, and then that means like you can connect more easily on those specific topics when it's necessary. Um, Music channel is kind of cool. It allows you to like first you can like talk in it, so it's more useful for like video games so that like everyone can be doing the same thing. But what is cool about the music channel is you can, if I can remember how to use it, I think I did maybe just maybe not. Um, this isn't set up the way it's supposed to be. I don't think. You could. Nope. I'm confused. Um, well, oh, because I'm still in the genetic defects group. I was trying to click there, but okay, I'm still new to this. This is not showing up the way it was the other day. You can like request songs and it'll pull the songs from YouTube and play them. So if you're like in here hanging out with a couple of people, you guys like can listen to music together, or if like we're playing video games or whatever on the other channels, you're welcome to that. And then we will open up to some more hard topics like vaccines, where maybe you do have some questions, you want to talk about it, and you're going to agree to talk about it, maybe with some more leveled up rules than we have for the general group. Um, we want to have that space, but like I feel like there's some specific topics that we have a hard time as humans being respectful sometimes to other people and what they're going through. And so those topics, um, we have kind of separated out, and you have to be in the group for a certain amount of time. You have to be engaged in the group for a certain amount of time. So to build like a level of trust of like, yeah, you're following the rules, you're being like a valued member of the community. If you have some questions or you want to engage on some of these harder topics, we'll have those conversations open, but you have to kind of earn it to get there, kind of a thing. And so those will be available as well. So right now I have one for vaccines. If there's other ones that you feel like we should add to that, um, I'm open to that. So that's kind of the Discord now. It's just kind of um, the beginnings of it. The link for the Discord to join, I will go ahead and add now here in the chat for everybody. So you can just just follow the link and it'll take you over to join and create an account and everything. And there we go. Um, Sometimes I get a little lost because I have so many windows open. So that's kind of what we have going on with the Discord. I'm really excited about what it can become, and it takes you joining. It takes all of us joining, and having this place of community where not only can we come to each other for advice, for a laugh, for a cry, but also just for a space where we can connect and hang out and just like exist together. And I'm hoping that will help with some of the loneliness and isolation that is too common in our community of parents with kids in and out of the hospital. Um, so a lot of the times things will be kind of more late night, but as we get more kind of activities or groups going, if the group that wants to do the book club or the group that wants to do this or whatever, if you have a schedule that you'd rather do it Saturday afternoon or Tuesday morning or whatever works for you guys, I'm not going to be in charge of all of it. That's the last thing I want. This isn't about me, it's about us. And so I want there to be things that you guys love, that you guys are interested in, that you guys can find ways to connect and exist together that I don't have to be a part of. So that's what we have going on with the Discord and upcoming with the podcast. Um, so I think we'll kind of get ready to sign off here, but I just love to have another little space in case we've got people who've been hopping in and out, to just open up. Like, if you have anything about your week you want to talk about, how your week went, if you guys are having a hard time, love to just kind of support you, encourage you. That's what this space is for us to be able to connect as parents and talk about the things that are hard or good, that maybe others can't. So feel free to say hey in the chat. If you're watching this on replay, you're also feel free to contribute in the chat, and make sure you can connect with us. I think next Friday we are going to be coming home from Rochester, and we're supposed to also have a storm. So I have a feeling it's going to put too much pressure on me to say I'm going to be home in time and drive safe in the storm and get home on time to do the live. So probably next week we won't be together, or we'll be late. Probably not though. I probably should just say we won't connect. Maybe I'll do a little something on Saturday, maybe something a little different. I don't know. We'll see what things look like next week. I might just be exhausted after next week because we have doctor's appointments like every single day next week. So, what else was I gonna say? Oh, so we've been doing this thing in the Facebook group, like trying to kind of wake it up a little bit and like talking about sharing your stories. I'm going to take those stories and be posting them in video format on all the other platforms to kind of help enliven things. So, whatever platform you happen to be on, watch for those. Feel free to engage in those. I am excited to have us connect to each other's stories and grow together. So, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great night. Stay warm, and until next time, I don't know, be amazing. Thanks for watching.